Hi everyone, welcome to another edition of Bruxer TV. I'm your host James Foster, and this is episode number 5. Great show for you today, so let's jump right into the happenings of the MMA world. First up, Eddie Alvarez. Unfortunately, you can't expect to see him in the UFC anytime soon. He's got a lot of problems with contracts between him and Bellator and the UFC. Now, for those of you who don't know, essentially what happened is Eddie's contract is coming to an end, and he wanted to move to the UFC. UFC gave him a very good deal, a very good possible contract. What it said, that contract, he was offered a contract for $70,000 to show up for a fight, $70,000 to win a fight, with $5,000 escalation for each fight that he won, a $250,000 signing bonus, an immediate title shot, 3 commentary opportunities, as well as a percentage of the pay-per-view profits. That is an enormous amount of money, an enormous contract. And naturally he wants it. But, of course, Bellator says that they had an option to renew his contract. And in their defense, Bellator is being really cool about it. They have offered to match everything that they can that the UFC is offering. They're going to give him the $70,000 to show and $70,000 to win. They're going to give him the $250,000 signing bonus. They're going to give him the commentary spots and the title shot. The only thing that they cannot offer him is the percentage of the pay-per-view money. And that's simply because Bellator doesn't do any pay-per-view. Not exactly something you can offer someone if you don't even do it. So, it would not surprise me one bit if Eddie Alvarez just wound up sitting out for the next year to let his contract with Bellator expire, and then maybe you'd see him in the UFC. But I gotta think that by then, this sweet deal that he's getting here for this all kinds of crazy money and percentage of pay-per-views and the commentary opportunities, I gotta think that that's going to be probably not even there in a year. When you're a hot commodity, you get these kind of things, but if no one hears from you for a year, I wouldn't expect it to be around. That's just me, though. Up next, we've got Frankie Edgar. Lots of talk about him cutting weight for this fight with Aldo, my apologies. There's been a lot of, it's all been all over Twitter, all over the blogs, that he's having a hard time cutting it, that he can't cut it, that he's already as lean as he can get. Luckily, from what Frankie says, that's not true. He thought it was going to be very hard to come down in weight, especially and keep his strength up. Because, I mean, let's face it, Jose Aldo is a force of nature. This guy is amazing. And, yeah, he's going to need every ounce of strength he's got just to stay up with Aldo. Luckily, according to Edgar, and of course he wouldn't say anything else, but he says that he has cut the weight. The cut was easier than possible. It actually worked out really well because he didn't have to eat every 2 hours like he had been in his other division. So he says the cut to the featherweight division has been easy and he worked out really great, and he's really excited about the fight. I want to see this fight. This should be a great fight. A lot of people rag on the lighter weight divisions, especially when you get down to featherweight, that they're not as interesting, the names aren't as big, they're not marquee names. I think they're awesome fights. They are fast-paced, a lot of them stay standing, which means a lot of striking and a lot of action. I think it's going to be a great fight. I'm absolutely looking forward to seeing that. Next up, more Rampage whining. Rampage, this weekend at the event that he's fighting Glover, and the same one that Aldo is fighting Edgar, he is not going to be allowed to wear Reebok. Reebok is his #1 big blue chip sponsor, and he can't wear them. You know, if you're going to sign an enormous contract with somebody, don't you think someone would fucking see if there's a stipulation, if there can be another shoe company? They already knew that Nike was involved. Junior Dos Santos wears them all the time. It's his shirt, and that's all that's on it. his name and a Nike swoosh. Other fighters have Nike being promoted on their banners and on their trunks. When you're talking about a company that big and that massive, don't you think you would look into that maybe a little bit? Make sure that it's cool. Apparently fighters don't talk to the UFC at all when it comes to their sponsorships. And that just seems dumb and short-sighted, because then you wind up with stupid things like this. And yes, it's one more way for Rampage to just get on the air and bitch about things and bitch about the UFC as he's leaving. Goodbye, Rampage. Not gonna miss you, buddy. Think about things, people. It just makes common sense. So now what does he do? He just goes on any show, get any press he can, and I swear now that it's now his contract that he has to bring up that he can't wear Reebok. That's how they're getting their mentions in. I don't know, but that's what it seems like. It's kind of sad. Ridiculous. Next up, Chael Sonnen pisses off Lance Armstrong. Now, Chael Sonnen pisses me off. He pisses everybody off. And now he's even messing with Lance Armstrong. See, the thing that happened was he was on the Jim Rohn show, and it was about basically the same time of day that Oprah was interviewing Lance Armstrong about his use of illegal substance abuse enhancers for his Tour de France. The guy lied about riding a bike. Whoopity-doo. Anyway, so Chael Sonnen is on the Jim Rohn show and says to the world, basically, that once Lance Armstrong is done apologizing to Oprah, he should come apologize to Chael Sonnen. Like Chael Sonnen is the worldwide renowned, known everywhere media powerhouse that is Oprah Winfrey. Right, like Chael Sonnen is anywhere near as influential or on the same level as Oprah. And I'm not an Oprah fan myself, but come on, there's a bit of a difference there, Chael. You can't fake it to make it on that level, buddy. Sorry. Hate to say it. So, anyway, what happened with that is Lance Armstrong threatened to sue Chael. And Chael, of course, had his comeback that I'll punch you in the face or I'll beat you up or something stupid like that. Chael probably never even said that. He's just trying to sound good. And there just hasn't been anything back from the Armstrong camp. Probably because they're getting their lawyers all geared up. That's my opinion. I hope that's what's happening. Chael apparently doesn't care about running his mouth to everyone else. He doesn't think anyone in the world can beat him up. Not like Anderson Silva could or anything. So maybe this time if he gets sued, it'll hit him in the pocketbook and that's what'll shut him up. That's what I'm hoping for. That's what I'm looking for. Hopefully that's what happens. Alright, what else we got here? Alistair Overeem, the Reem. Not only did he put out some cool little documentary building video about the Reem 3.0, he is also saying probably not to this whole voluntary drug testing thing. And I don't blame him. I wouldn't want to go piss in a cup weekly, monthly, whatever it would have to be. It's just an unnecessary hassle. He's been licensed, relicensed. He's on the up and up. He has taken the drug tests that he's need to. To do more, just to do more, seems like a waste of time and a fucking pain in the ass. Totally agree with him. Wouldn't want to do it myself. You go, Reem. You got my support on that one. So, let's close it up with something interesting. Something big. Bisping is no longer in the top 3 fighters of his division. Middleweights now consist... The top 3 middleweights are, of course, Anderson Silva. He's got the belt. Now, number 2 is now Vitor Belfort. That's pretty cool. And number 3... Who do we have here as I'm spacing? Chris Weidman. So, that brings up the question. Since Dana White said Belfort isn't going to fight Silva, Bisping got beat, who's going to be fighting Silva? Huh? Who's it going to be? The big thing is to see if Chris Weidman is the next choice. Of course, there was Rashad Evans. He was throwing his hat in the ring and then quickly backed out like we talked about yesterday. I see Weidman as being the only choice. If Rashad's going to say, yeah, I can beat him, but then back out, be like, I can't cut the weight, it wouldn't be healthy. I couldn't blah blah blah. Screw it. Give it to Weidman. Let's see that fight. He's the next guy in line. That's who we should see fight. Alright, let's quit murkying up this whole division. Let's straighten it out. Let's put Weidman in there. Alright? I'm James Foster. This is Bruxer TV. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.